My first thing, the draft lottery was this week for the NHL. I just have to say, the Blackhawks, you stupid mother. That's what I wrote down in our notes, and I'm not scared to say that. Connor Bedard is basically like Connor McDavid coming out on steroids, and the fact that you can cover up, trigger warning, SA for years, and then kind of in a weird way be rewarded for it is just so stupid in my opinion. And I know that you can't change that they came in place, that they suck, the way the draft lottery works, whatever. And this, a lot of people on Twitter were like, well, the fans deserve it, blah blah blah. I'm like, not really. I don't really like screw you guys. I don't care. Like, I hate this. I know that you can't change anything. It just feels like they're getting rewarded with Connor McDavid for being shitty, and I hate it. Haley, yeah, any other comments? I think that's
yeah, no, I would agree. I would say I don't know, it's tough because I feel the way about Jonathan Toews as I do about Tyler Seguin. I think he's absolutely adorable, and there are some really likable characters on the Blackhawks. I got into a fight at a bar in Nashville over the Blackhawks that you were both present for. I
don't remember this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nashville got the best of me.
Is that the one you got kicked out of?
No.
Hear Jackson screaming in his sleep right now.
Is he? Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I don't know. Tough. The draft lottery, be wild in, is all I have to say.
There's no way to fix it. There's nothing you can change. It's not that I want it to change.
I feel like I'm gonna be just like, okay, every year. Like, I don't know.
No, I love the lottery system. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way to go about it. But that being said, it does bother me. And rant. That's really all I had to say. And I also, because of the way that this shook out in the Sharks, we're never going to be good again. It's over. It's done for. Okay, Haley, a couple Bruins thoughts for you, and I thought about the Avs, and then we'll get into the playoffs. I was looking at the Bruins free agency tweets. I wanted to know who you think you should prioritize, because I completely disagree with you now that I'm looking at this.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, this was the easiest part of my week.
All right, go for it.
All right. So, I don't know now that you disagree. So, we have a ton of free agents. I'm not going to read them off.
I think we should. So the Bruins' current free agents: Dmitry Orlov, Patrice Bergeron, Tyler Bertuzzi, Nick Foligno, Thomas Nosek, Garrett Hathaway, Chris Wagner, Trent Frederick, Jeremy Swayman, Connor Clifton, David Krejci, and Jacob Lauko. That is a lot of people and a lot of important people. I think you can target 3 realistically, maybe 4 with like the contracts that I think you owe a couple people. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So my priorities are Orlov, Bertuzzi, Krejci, and Swayman. Not in that order. If I were to put them in order, I'd probably go Orlov. It's just tough because you have to factor in the Berge contract. However they put that is going to be kind of, I feel like depending on how much money is taken from that is going to be taken from the rest of the space that we have available to spend. You're going to fucking explode. Please go.
See, here's the thing. You signed Pasta, a huge deal. You owe Jeremy Swayman a lot of money. David Krejci's only staying if Bergeron does. I think that they're both done. They're too old. Let them walk away. I think that you have to prioritize Jeremy Swayman, Trent Frederick, and Bertuzzi. Sway, because he's your future. He might be your second guy right now behind Allmark, but he's your future. He's like this goalie tandem, and keeping the goaltending strong is something that I think they're really going to have to rely on, because they've given up a lot of their farm system over the last couple of years and have kind of failed to continue to develop guys in a way that I think that they should have based on. I mean, the 2015 draft was an explosion, and it's like no secret that they have had a hard time developing talent in the AHL and ECHL or whatever. But I think you have to do Sway. Obviously, goaltending, huge priority. You're going to have to make up on that defensive end with some of the guys that you've given up from your AHL farm. Trent Frederick is your sole young guy that I think that they need to focus on at this point. So I think that you've got to pay him. And Bertuzzi contributed a lot more than I think people expected him to. I think that because of that, they're going to owe him a little bit more money. But honestly, I think after Swayman, if I had to go in order, Sway, Bertuzzi, Freddie, I think if you can keep Bergeron and Krejci on like a year deal or something like that, fine. But the rest of these guys, I just don't know if it's realistic. And I don't think you can let anybody else walk to even kind of give them a chance of being around.
Yeah, so I think you're bringing up some good points. I think the Krejci Bergeron thing is going to be a them call. If they want to stay, they're going to.
Yeah, they'll find money. They'll make it work for whatever. I
honestly say they're either a given or they're not, but that's a them decision. That's not.
I think Bergie could stay. And I think Krejci will only stay if he does, obviously, but I don't even know if he will stay either way.
Yeah. So it's up to them, honestly. So I don't know how they're gonna decide.
I think you've got to go Sway, Freddie, and Bert here.
I'm going Sway, Bert, and Orlov. Sorry, I've heard Orlov's name yelled way too many times in playoffs. He's just I think he's a necessity. So I don't hate that.
All right.
But I like the Freddie idea. That
you got to. You got to keep the future around. Is like I said, because of the people that they've traded away to keep like the core of what they have together. I think you have to keep a young guy on the team. I don't think he's going to cost too much money.
No, and you did, and it's a good point because as I say that about Orlov, like you do hear Trent's name thrown around all the time too. Like he's one of those younger players that's out there making moves. So I will give you credit on that. I think that those are some of that's what we have to do.
The only other comment I have before we talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Colorado Avalanche were obviously eliminated earlier this week, late last week, whatever. And they announced that Landeskog is going to undergo surgery on his knee and named the date and hospital and doctor on top of the obvious procedure that he's having done. And I think that this is scary and weird. Like, I know that obviously he probably has security. The hospital has security, all of whatever. I don't think is that not like a HIPAA violation?
Naming the hospital is wild.
I
don't think naming the doctor, the people name doctors who's like, if they're like a renowned surgeon, they shout them out sometimes.
Or the date.
Yeah, this was really
weird. Date and hospital is a little strange, but
yeah, I think that's really, really weird. I don't know how it's not a HIPAA violation, even if it's, I don't know if you get to determine if you run that story or that information or what have you, but I just personally think that is so weird and unsafe. And I don't know how it's not a HIPAA violation. I know that we have access to some, athletes' medical stuff to a degree because it has to be reported to media. But I just think that is very strange and unsafe. And I don't know, it freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Any other comments before we talk about the Leafs and Panther series?
I got nothing, Chief.
All right, so today is Friday. Game 5 is going to be today at 7 p.m. So if you are obviously listening to this game is over. Florida is either, I have to cough, sorry, but
do it.
Sorry. The Florida could either close this out tonight or we could potentially see a game 6. I have in our notes that I think that this will get pushed to a game 6. I think just because of the momentum of last game. Haley, I'll let you get into your notes because I think I have a couple more than you.
Yeah, you do. I agree. I think we're going to go to a 6 for the script. I think you brought it up last week, and I would agree with this. I think the Leafs won by getting to this point. It seems kind of like, as you're going to get into, they're just like kicking up and putting their feet up. With that being said, I do not want the Panthers to win the series because then I have to look at Matthew Tkachuk for another whole series, and I don't know if I can emotionally do that. With that being said, do I think the Panthers are going to take the series? Yes. Are they going to take it tonight? Honestly, I think there's a possibility. Again, the 3-1 lead means nothing to me in anything anymore. So
yeah, I want to talk about your Kachuk point for a second, because I don't care who knows this. I'm ready to say it. I love Mitch Marner, and I don't care who knows it. I saw a TikTok of him during warmups the other day that had me hysterically laughing. But on top of that, the other night after the game, there was a huge fight after. Like, I don't know if were you watching that game?
Yeah.
There was a huge fight, and it was awesome. Matthew Tkachuk punched Mitch Marner in the face twice, and all Mitch Marner did was laugh at him, chew on his mouthpiece, and call him a fucking pussy. And that is big dick energy at its finest. That is hilarious. I love Mitch Marner. I don't care if you hate the Leafs. I don't care if you hate him. So many people do. I think that he is comedy gold as a person. Watching him skate around like a figure skater during warmups while everyone else is doing drills is so good. He just has main character energy. I don't know. I love him, and I don't care who knows it.
You know what it is? He and you live for the chaos.
Yes.
He lives for the chaos.
Wait, okay, you know what? We're going full astrology thought here. Let's see. Mitch Marner birthday. May 5th. He's a Taurus. King. Okay, we stand. I think that it obviously shouldn't take the brink of elimination for the Leafs to win a game in a series, even though obviously it was a must-win back against the wall mentality situation. I feel like the Leafs like that. We saw this in their last series. I feel like they like edging a bit. I don't know what it is. They just do not play unless they have to. I don't know. I think that what worked for them in the last game that they played tough. They came out quick. They had some really good line changes, and I thought that was something that they kind of had let slip earlier in this series, and they got clean production off of their line changes. That being said, I feel like they obviously took more shots in this game than they have the rest of the series, and that was beneficial for them. Shots are just bound to go in if you shoot, but it's where they were shooting from that was impressive to me. And I think that they were able to capitalize off of. They were shooting from all over the ice, like long shots, getting some D-men shots. I think that they just played like they knew that they had to, and obviously they did. And that's easy to say, but it was just the production and like the little things that I think that they had kind of let slip earlier in the series. I don't know if it was just that Florida was playing better, if they just thought that they could get away with playing sloppier. I think that it will go to a game 6. Panthers are obviously going to take it. But I think that they got production where they hadn't in other places so far in the series. And obviously that worked, and it had to work. Devils, Canes. I didn't watch a whole lot of this series. It got pretty boring pretty quick. I watched game 1 and a little bit of last night's game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I did actually keep up with this one a little bit more than I thought I was going to. Obviously, my favorite series of the playoffs right now is Dallas and Seattle, which we're going to get into. But I was joking all week last week that I was hoping for a Carolina Devil color matchup just for the insanity of it. I mean, honestly, last night I thought was super fun. There were some moments when I was at the bar watching the Celtics where I found my attention being a little bit turned, which is kind of crazy, to that game, because I was like, wow, they're crazy. And when I mean crazy, I mean they were skating so fast last night. My buddy turned to me and
they're a fast team.
He goes, the Bruins would have had no shot. And in terms of speed, and I agree. Like, I don't know if maybe we're just slow. I know we tend to be a little bit slower in our gameplay, but especially in the playoffs, like it just felt like they were dragging so hard. So watching
they're young.
Watching the game last night, they're young. Both teams I thought were really fast. So it was a really entertaining game. I thought. I did predict that Carolina was going to take the series. I just don't think the Devils are there yet. I think you have a lot of great points that we'll get into, but they're almost there, and I love that for them, but I don't think they're quite there yet. Here's what I like for the Canes. Brent Burns is just like
Sharks legend.
Domination defensively, like Sharks legend, shout out. But he continues to impress me throughout the series.
And he's old as fuck. It's awesome.
Especially for his
I love
age.
old guys in the playoffs.
Especially, and I was just gonna say, especially his age. I'm loving the gap look. Like, it's just, I'm kind of rooting for him. I also have
you
Jesper
seen his
Fast.
Sports Illustrated shoot? I think it was Sports Illustrated.
I think I did.
When he's like nude. It's
Oh,
awesome.
I have Jesper Fast. I think we're gonna hear his name a lot. I really like the way that he was playing last night, despite missing the goal that sent them into overtime. He did come back and win the overtime goal to make up for it. So I like the looks of him too. Super cool player. Get into your Devils points, madam.
I don't have a ton to say. I kind of called this just because the Devils are so young. I thought that this is about where they would wind up in the playoffs. I didn't expect them to win the last series, but they did. I think that they're going to be a true cup contender. And I know that I've said this on the show in the next 2 years. We've talked about their farm system, how impressive I think it is. I think both of these teams are kind of playing with house money at this point. It's just that Carolina's got a little bit more experience as far as age and depth than I think the Devils do right now. So I think that it makes sense. We've talked about how the lack of Andrei Svechnikov not really seeming to affect them too much. I think that whoever they play next round, it's done for them. I think that they shouldn't hang their hat on that, though. It's been a good a good season for them. I just don't think that they're going to be able to. I don't think they're a cup eligible team right now. I think that losing in the next round suits about where they are, Svechnikov or not. So that's really all I have to say. Our favorite series we've talked about a lot. We both have Joe Pavelski in our notes. He is, if you are listening to this before Saturday or Sunday, I think the next game's on Saturday. The Stars went up last night to lead the series 3-2. Joe Pavelski, I almost wore his jersey today. I also, go into your Pavelski notes because I have some stuff to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because I don't have I know you're a really ride or die Pavelski gal. I have really just started to see him in this series, just paying attention. Kendra's the hockey girl. I'm the basketball girl. So outside of the Bruins and a couple other like bigger players, I'm like really enjoying this playoff series. Just getting to see a lot of the Dallas Star players and even the Kraken players that I don't usually see in regular season. He continues to impress. He just absolutely blows me away. I spoke last week about the casualness of him, just like coming back into the series after not being there for the previous series and getting 4 goals, and just skating back, sitting down. Unreal. Same thing. We were just talking about Brent, an older guy. So just to see him being out there and like a total leader of this team, it seems. I'm really rooting for the Stars here. We talked about, we love Texas hockey. I'm living for the broadcast of these games and seeing these fans. It's just a really fun series to watch.
I have some fun facts for you.
Okay.
About Joe Pavelski before we talk about something else that I will also bring up Joe Pavelski for. Did you know that he is the 3rd all-time leading goal scorer in the postseason?
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. I think he has like 70 or 71 goals now in the postseason, and that's pretty baller. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I don't know, just a couple other standouts from the Stars for me. Roope Hintz, 2 goals last night to bring them up 5-2.
Did you see his second goal?
Not last night, the other night. Yeah.
Did you see his second goal? That was such an awkward. I mean, I thought that it was I thought that it was very easy to tell, like on TV. I don't know about the ref's perspective that had completely crossed the line, because they just let play continue and then like 30 seconds later blew it dead because they reviewed it at headquarters or where, I don't remember where. I think are they in Vegas? I'm not sure, but ruled it a goal, stopped play. And I just so very clearly on the broadcast thought that was a goal and knew that it was a goal. But it was just I thought that it took way longer than it should have, / I thought it was very evident. I always think it's awkward when that happens because then you just have to like stop playing and like I don't know, weird. But I thought that it was very clearly a goal. He had a great night last night.
Yeah. He really impressed me. And Wyatt Johnson, the really young kid from Ontario, has also really impressed me. I think we're going to hear his name in the league a lot. if he gets to grow and develop with this Joe Pavelski and Tyler Seguin led team, like, good for him. I think he's going to be pretty badass. This kid's
he lives with Joe Pavelski.
This birthday for this Wyatt Johnson's birthday is May 14th, 2003.
And he lives with Joe Pavelski and his whole family.
And I'm like, that is just crazy to me. Pop off, King. Love it.
I think it's weird. This is like the first year because of like kids' COVID years and whatever that I'm officially like way older than everyone playing college sports. And it is very weird.
Not even college, though.
I know, but I just like
this is NHL playoffs, and my boy is out here with a 2003 birthday, impressing me in this economy.
It's true, so true, bestie.
What are your thoughts on the series, buddy?
I want to talk about Jake Ottinger because I think that he is the biggest difference maker in this series for me. I talked about how I thought the Bruins kind of played with their food for a minute. I think the Dallas Stars are kind of letting that happen in this series a bit. I think that they're very clearly the better team. They're more experienced. They have bigger names on their team. Jake Ottinger has been one of the best goalie prospects in the league, shout out Hockey East, for quite some time. And I don't think that he's had his best playoffs / best series whatsoever. And I realize that some of these goals haven't been his fault, and you can't really pull him or replace him or anything because he's an irreplaceable player. I just don't think that Jake Ottinger has been performing to the best of his abilities this postseason. And I think that if they can clean up some of the goaltending and like shitty shots they've allowed, bad D at times, not even bad D, I mean, just unlucky. I don't know. I think that if they can clean that up, they really need to close out this series, move on, get some extra rest. I also think that the Kraken are one of those teams like New Jersey and Carolina who've been playing with house money, in my opinion. They're an expansion team. You know, you never expect an expansion team to kind of be where they're at. And even though we saw it happen with Vegas, it's still just one of those things that I don't think should happen and doesn't really happen, even though we've seen it twice with both of these NHL expansion teams at this point. I still feel like they are playing with house money. And then I just want to say, back on the Joe Pavelski thing for a second, I want to talk about ESPN. I don't mean this in a bad way. I just am so sick of NHL coverage on ESPN. I watched one of the games on ESPN on mute the other night with my headphones on, listening to music, just because I don't like the call. I don't know. They don't talk about it on any of their major programs. They don't talk about it on any. I've been watching ESPN since 8:00 this morning, and I have seen 30 seconds of coverage on ESPN. It is now 11 o'clock, 3 hours, and I've seen one thing about the Kraken Dallas game last night. And it's like, you guys are the home of hockey. You don't talk about anything that's going on. Joe Pavelski deserves some respect on your programming. I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, you know, the me versus like me on my wedding day versus like whatever. If you're not on TikTok, you're not on this side of TikTok. There's basically this trend right now where girls are making like a like less hot picture of them as me on my wedding day, and then the hottest picture of them and like me on the downfall of whoever or whatever. And it's like me at my wedding day and me at the downfall of hockey on ESPN. And I'm just so there. I've watched 3 hours of NBA coverage and NFL schedule release coverage, and I get that that's what makes you money, but it is the fucking, not even fucking, it is the motherfucking Stanley Cup playoffs right now, and you have had one segment of coverage, and you guys are the home of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Miss me with that bullshit, and I'm not even sorry for saying it. End rant.
I will shout out in this portion here, the Henrik Lundqvist thirst traps for the TNT coverage. Iconic.
Yeah, king. So Knights Oilers is the Western games have been so much better. It's actually tragic because I'm a tired girl. I'm sleepy.
They're so good. They're so
I know.
fun.
I know. I only have really that. I think that the Oilers are obviously still my favorite in this series. I think that it's been a battle that most hockey fans probably don't want to see, but I do want to see this series go as long as possible, which I think other people do too, just because obviously the longer a series go, the more tired, the more worn out, the less likely you are to win the next one. So this is just a matchup that hockey fans, I think, hate. I know people hate Vegas. I hate McDavid for cheating on his girlfriend. I hate Evander Kane for being a fucking dork. Go Vegas. Except for Leon Draisaitl, he can love him. I hope he succeeds and has his flowers. Fucking go Vegas. I hate Evander Kane so much. That's all I have to say.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that we're rooting for Vegas. We love an expansion team. Like, it's just kind of our brand. Like, sorry, not sorry. It's not our fault that they were sick and came into the NHL the way they did. Like,
yeah.
Sorry. I think the Oilers are the more talented team. With that being said, however, I don't know. I agree. We do not stand cheating on your spouse or significant other. Like, they're just not very likable to me. I don't know. Maybe like when the Bruins were really good, they were the only team that I was like nervous about, the Oilers. So maybe I'm just like, I'm not living for them. I think it's going to be interesting seeing how. I don't think, honestly, again, like you mentioned, I've seen a lot of coverage about this series because everybody loves to talk about the Oilers.
And Vegas, because everyone hates Vegas.
Yeah.
Stop hating Vegas.
So I've seen a lot about Darnell Nurse of the Oilers and Alex
Pietrangelo. Yeah,
they're going to be out tonight, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think it's going to be as impactful as you might think. I think they'll both be able to kind of work around.
I think they're equivalent to each other. Like it's an equal blow. Like, yeah, I think the suspension, fine, whatever. I get it. I think that it's an equal blow to each team, so I don't think that it's an unfair suspension. I think the NHL knew that. Whatever. I don't care who wins this series, to be honest. I'm obviously cheering for Vegas. I don't want either of these teams to win a cup. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So those are our NHL thoughts.
Tyler, do you have an NHL thought at all?
NHL thoughts from Tyler.
One thought in your brain.
No.
Perfect.
Do you have any comments on how much of a New Englander I look like?
It's actually, you just need a cigarette and a Dunkin'.
Oh, I have a Spirit over there, but I'm not gonna do that.
That is, dude, okay, I don't smoke cigs.
I don't smoke cigarettes. I just have them.
I've never smoked cigs, but I will say this is really fucking weird. I love the way that American Spirit cigarettes unlit smell because I think that they smell like raisins.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack.
No. Yes, Haley, do you have them like accessible? Give them a sniff. No?
No, I have them locked away.
Boo. They smell like raisins. I think raisins.
I used to smoke when I worked when I was a bartender. When you're bartending, you need cigarettes.
I bartended and I never once ever.
Well, I needed them.